feeling like I'm Akademiks.
The Diddy stuff is like the gift that keeps giving. Like, pause, right? Like, look, you know they were saying Diddy. Oh my God, look at this. This is what the fuck? Look at this. Is this AI? What the hell? Anyway, what I can say is this. You know, everyone's been saying and asking her, you know, whatever about Kim Porter's death, and apparently they brought on like a is a pathologist. I don't know if that would be the right name for the medical professional that would be able to evaluate a corpse. And remember, his ex-wife, Kim Porter, died kind of almost like slightly mysterious. They did give a cause of death, but people felt like Diddy had something to do with it, or maybe his mistreatment of her had something to do with it. And I don't know if I can find that, but I think this is a part of it right here.
Guys, right now, we do have some evidence that Kim Porter may have been poisoned and murdered.
The conversation regarding Kim Porter...
Wait. Hold on. Is that the guy that wrote the book? Because that guy's full of ish.
...continues. More discussion over...
Like, I'm really at the point where it's like, bro, we could sit here and watch some nigga make up some shit, and like, I guess it'll be content, but it's just like, yo, bro, like, at what point do we start drawing a line?
Her death.
It's like Jaguar Wright, right? Like, we could listen to Jaguar Wright for like 3 days, but at what point we're like, all right, come on, man.
The accusation that
anyway, I'm gonna play this for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick.
Wasn't a proper investigation. We're going to catch you up to speed on this aspect of the Sean Combs story and bring back on forensic death investigator Joseph Scott Morgan to get to the bottom of this. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. Hey guys, this is a Law and Crime legal alert. A mother was aspects of his life, all the people in his life, and that includes, of course, Kim Porter, Combs' ex-girlfriend, who tragically died in her Los Angeles home back in November of 2018. Officers reportedly found the 47-year-old unresponsive. She was pronounced dead. Now, initially, an autopsy was performed on Porter the next day, and according to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office, the cause of death was deferred pending additional tests. But then you fast forward to January 2019, and the office then concludes that she died of lobar pneumonia. So the manner of death was listed as natural as opposed to something like homicide. And she'd apparently gone into cardiac arrest. Now, it was reported that she had been battling flu-like symptoms in the days leading up to her death, that there were water bottles, sports drinks, Pedialyte. They were found in her bedroom. Days after her death, Sean Combs commented publicly about Porter's death, writing on Instagram, for the last 3 days, I've been trying to wake up out of this nightmare, but I haven't. I don't know what I'm going to do without you, baby. I miss you so much. Today I'm going to pay tribute to you. I'm going to try and find the words to explain our unexplainable relationship. We were more than best friends. We were more than soulmates. We were some other S. And I miss you so much. Super Black Love. Combs would reportedly tell Essence magazine the following year, one night I was checking on her and she was like, Puffy, take care of my babies. She actually said that to me before she died. Now, he's talked about Porter a lot over the years. For example, in 2023, Combs claimed that Porter was the inspiration behind his Love album, Off the Grid. He even dedicated a song to her. Now, despite all of this, there have been rumors. There have been unsubstantiated rumors about Kim Porter's death, about what actually happened. And remember, this is a couple that first started dating in the 90s. They had an on-again, off-again relationship. They went through a custody battle over Christian, the son that they had together. They reconcile. They have twin daughters together, Delilah Starr, Jesse James. Combs reportedly cheated on Porter, though. They broke up in 2007, but by all accounts, Porter and Combs seemed to remain close, to be on good terms as parents until her death. And by the way, a little side note, Porter was actually mentioned relatively recently in one of the sexual assault lawsuits that was filed against Sean Combs. This concerned April Lampros, and she claimed that one night in 1996, Combs had forced her and Porter to take ecstasy and have sex with each other as Combs watched and touched himself. And she said afterwards that Combs even invited her to Porter's birthday party. Now, Lampros would also allege that Porter got angry and was resentful of her and helped get her fired from the bar where Lampros was working. So it was really interesting to hear that. But like I said, there have been theories popping up, particularly on Reddit, about Porter's real cause of death, about whether or not she was killed. And one of those people who seems to believe that there is more to the story is Albie Shore. This is Porter's ex. His real name is Albert Joseph Brown. They shared a son together named Quincy. Well, after Combs' arrest on federal sex crimes charges, Brown posted on Instagram, "In a nutshell, Kimberly was allegedly taken from us because she was set on course to accomplish what Mrs. Cassie Ventura did by igniting the bonfire which brings us here today." Ventura, of course, is Combs' ex-girlfriend who filed that initial sexual assault, sex trafficking lawsuit against Sean Combs last year. It spiraled into multiple other lawsuits and arguably spiraled into these charges that he's now facing today. And Brown wrote, "I'm writing this post to formally request an investigation into an entire group of individuals who worked at or around the residence of Miss Kimberly Porter." And he called her death a tragic murder. Now, interestingly, there are reports that Albie Shore has even taken more security measures after asking for an investigation. In fact, he was presented an award at the American Liver Foundation's National Legacy Gala in New York. And in his speech, he says, "We even have Homeland Security in the building. Detective Jackson, good to see you." Not entirely sure what he's talking about, what he's referencing, but considering it was Homeland Security that raided Sean Combs' properties in LA and Miami and collected all that evidence that federal prosecutors are now using in their criminal case against him, interesting comment to make. Now, Gene Deal, this is Combs' former bodyguard, spoke on the Art of Deal podcast about this, and he said, "You got to realize, man, Kim's death wasn't even investigated." He went on to say, "How is it that there was no electronic products or gadgets around Kim? Be her laptop missing, her cell phone's missing, everything is missing that she could get in touch with her little girls if they're not at home, or her friends or family. All that's missing. How is it that? All that's missing. How is it that?" The detectives didn't even examine Porter's body where she passed away. And Deal emphasized, if that is true, that case needs to be reopened. And also in regards to the idea that she got a massage right before her death, he also said, who gives somebody a massage when they get pneumonia? Deal also apparently took issue with the alleged timing of buying her gold casket. He said, how you order a gold casket 2 months before somebody dies? And he even addressed Albie Shore beefing up his security. Al ain't no fool. He's smart by getting extra security. Now, with all of this as a backdrop, the last time we talked about Kim Porter on Sidebar is when a book was published on Amazon. It was entitled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side. It is allegedly a memoir from Kim Porter herself detailing her relationship with Sean Combs, but it reportedly contains typos, shocking. Down with Chris Todd to talk about this. We had you on months ago talking about this. There have been these kind of interesting developments since we last spoke. First, if you could just tell us, again, let's set the stage. Do you have any reason to believe that Kim Porter did not die of lobar pneumonia, and whether Porter could have been poisoned in a way to mimic those symptoms?
Wow, that's a very highly sophisticated premise. I think putting out that she could have been poisoned in some way, certainly something that would be undetectable. What I can tell you is that there was quite a bit of pathology with her autopsy. And, you know, you'd mentioned just a moment ago that she had died of lobar pneumonia. For folks that don't know, just a brief little primer here. Our lungs are comprised of lobes. Okay. So hence lobar pneumonia. The right lung has 3 lobes. The left lung has 2. All right. And the reason you have 2 is on the left is because the heart takes up the space. It kind of overlies the lung on that side. Now, her lungs, just so that I have the numbers right, to give you an idea of what we're dealing with here, her lungs were 850 grams for the left That's the one with only 2 lobes. And then the right lung was 900 grams. Now, that might not mean much to most of the listening public, but I can tell you this. For a woman in particular, alarm bells kind of go off if you get anything that's like up in the upper 400 range. We're talking about the weight of these lungs is desperately heavy. And not only that, but when the lungs were dissected at autopsy, they had this kind of purulent fluid that came out, and it's just kind of a polite way of saying pus. She had an ongoing infection. Now, I've investigated a lot of deaths over the course of my career in New Orleans and Atlanta, and I have yet to work a case where someone was able to introduce an agent into someone's system that wound up causing a pneumonia and leading to their death. However, I think one of my biggest questions is, because this is not something that just happened overnight, Jesse. This is a prolonged event. You had a physician, a house call physician, and that's the way they're termed, apparently, that was coming out to administer treatment to Miss Porter. How in the world this could have been missed, I have no idea. I have had people that are suffering from medical conditions that are in and of themselves lethal. If particularly pneumonia is very dangerous, and left to go untreated. And when I say untreated, she was given like a Z-Pak, which is kind of a broad spectrum antibiotic, which a lot of people receive. They give her an IV that is kind of vitamin infused. Lots of fluid bottles, they said, trying to do electrolyte replacement. But once you get this kind of bacterial infection that's going on, and you get to the point where your lungs are this heavy and you're producing pus at this point in time, I think my big question is, was this neglect? Because, this kind of passive thing that's going on, I don't see anything at this point in time that would indicate that she had some kind of trauma. And if somebody has an indication here, and I'm speaking to those individuals that are insinuating that she was in some way poisoned, there are probably cases in the best set of circumstances, it'd be preferable to.
Sorry, I gave a whole little mute Akademiks back again. No, I was just trying to summarize here. So this guy's basically saying, right, yo, there's nothing that he knows. It doesn't look like foul play. It doesn't look like foul play, right? What looks suspicious is that she had an illness that took probably some weeks or at least a little bit of time or maybe some months to develop to the point it was that bad by the time she died. They had an in-home physician that showed up and nobody detected this. I'm pretty sure if you have lungs filled with pus, your breathing would be labored. You could feel like, even if you catch a respiratory like infection, like you feel different. You would complain about it. And I guess that's where he's bringing up the suspicions, like how nobody knew about this junk, right? Now, obviously, because of where we are now, a lot of people want to believe that Diddy has some magic drug to do this. You know, this is beyond the scope of anybody who's not like literally a physician that could make that determination. And also probably a scientist who could know what drugs exist in the market, whether black market or not, that could have this effect to someone.
To do an autopsy. She had an autopsy performed, a thorough autopsy. Now, I can't speak to how thoroughly her tissues were examined afterwards, but she had a lot of stuff going on with her systemically that would give you an indication that she had some serious problems going on. And just let me throw this out there to you as well. Her system was not, her metabolism was not working within normal ranges. And one of the reasons, not only were her lungs heavy, but she had a condition that's referred to as pleural effusion. And so just imagine that your lungs placed in your chest, all right, you have your lungs, your heart right there. And normally that space is referred to as the pleural space. Normally that space is just open space. When they opened her chest, she had fluid that poured out of that space. Okay. And it was a considerable amount that she had coming out of the pleural area. They were able to measure it, and it was statistically significant. And what happens is with that process, you know, I talked about how heavy the lungs are if you have a pneumonia that's going on. So not only are you having trouble breathing, if anyone's ever had respiratory distress, or if you've ever had a loved one that has pneumonia, it's a horrible thing, a horrible set of conditions to be in. You combine that with pleural effusion, so you have this fluid that's impacting the lungs' ability or lack thereof to expand and contract. And so she kind of had the double whammy going on there.
Yeah, and I appreciate you not only going into the specifics of what might have happened to her, but also pushing back on the idea that she wasn't investigated, because there was an autopsy. And in fact, according to an autopsy report that was obtained by In Touch, I want to read you what this says. She was given Toradol by intramuscular route and was given intravenous fluids, including saline and vitamins. Ms. Porter called this physician the following day and explained she had no appetite. A nurse visited and gave her more saline solution with vitamins. The next day, she complained to the physician with a streak of blood in her phlegm. She also received a massage. She was watching television with people and subsequently went to bed. She was later found unresponsive and pronounced dead at the scene. And the autopsy revealed fibrinopurulent effusions, infectious fluids in the chest cavities, and pleuretic infection.
That's pleural effusion.
Yep. And there was also evidence of lobar pneumonia infection. It was natural, with nasopharyngeal swabs testing negative for viruses, and post-mortem toxicology results described as unremarkable. This is why you're the expert in this and not me. So that's very consistent with what you said, and you heard the idea of that. Like you said, the physician coming over. Why wasn't this detected? There seemed to be red warning signs. The idea of the massage. Anything? Again, I know there was questions about the massage, but what do you take away from that portion of the report?
Well, again, this is not, and I would state this plainly, under normal circumstances, if a clinician were to observe her and begin to understand just diagnostically without having drawn labs, okay, in life, you need to get her in for intensive care. Now, I don't mean she needs to be on the ICU, but she needs to be probably on a med surg floor in a hospital. And I'm just wondering why didn't that occur in this particular? And I've got one more bit of information for you here relative to the autopsy, which is quite telling, Jesse. Something that I had come across that was really, really striking to me was the fact that not only were her lungs heavy and she had pleural effusion, Jesse, she had a condition called hepatomegalia and splenomegalia, which means, in layman's terms, that both her spleen and her liver were inflamed and weighed more than you would ever expect, particularly when you look at the size of her liver, how big it was. It's striking to get this idea that this is something that was just like an acute event that just like happened like this. This had been kind of a slow march, because it's one thing to develop a pneumonia and you get bilateral lobar pneumonia and the pussy exudate and all that sort of thing. But how is it explained that her liver gets to this size? And it's a desperately difficult condition to overcome. And so you also have the liver that's in this state, and then you have the spleen that's in the state at the same time. So she's got some kind of systemic infection that's going on with her. Yeah.
Just to be clear about this, lobar pneumonia would cause this.
I'm thinking that there is a chance that it could. However, no, I think that there's something systemically going on with her. She's had health problems, it would seem. I don't know if she's been left undiagnosed, but, the numbers that they're applying here are really way outside of the norms for her. And so when you begin to see these and you're thinking, I think that any right-thinking clinician would look at this history and, certainly from the gross findings that you had at autopsy, they would say, why hadn't she been treated? Where,
Okay. It's more of like a pathologist kind of like looking at her death. It might just be natural. And when I mean natural, obviously not natural like she was going to die, but it's just that she had an illness that her body was dealing with for years, and then her body gave out, versus Diddy killed her. I do want to say the theory of Diddy supposedly getting her poisoned or killed. I feel like anytime I give an argument that's contrary to people saying, to me just saying, yo, Diddy did it, they think I'm defending Diddy, but like I'm looking for the proof too. Like I would have no problem saying the motive shit blows up. Like, all right, well, I guess maybe the motive is he was beating her ass too, right? Like he was beating her, having her do freak offs, which she probably definitely didn't like, right? But I think the other part of the motive blew up, which is the whole thing that she was writing a book. She ain't writing no book. Like, well, there ain't no book, right? So why would Diddy kill her? If she's a mother to his kids, she don't look like she going to the cops. There was rumors she writing a book, but there ain't no book. Unless we want to be a little bit cynical and be like, well, he killed her and destroyed the book. Well, I guess we could do that. I'm more inclined to not be on the cynicism side of this. This is what I think is the most likely scenario. Diddy used to beat the brakes off of every woman. That's his thing. Beat a bitch till they listen to him. He used to be also maybe a closeted bisexual man. He also had really weird kinks. I don't know if it happened with Kim Porter, because we haven't heard any men claim that they had sex with Kim Porter. But I think it happened with Cassie, definitely, where his perverse sexual deviant behaviors led to him now being cool with other men having sex with her, as long as it was under his supervision. So I do think he was doing maybe some freak offs or some weird sex stuff with her. I definitely think he put hands on her. Do I think he killed her? I would say no. And the reason why I'm saying no is because I think it lacks that motive of why kill her at that time. Like, he's not killing every woman he's beaten. And also, if he killed her, and this is the mother of your kids who's also have some type of profile, she was a supermodel, why not kill everybody? You get what I'm saying? Like, why only kill her? Why ain't kill the rest of these women? Now, another thing, and I feel like I'm arguing against myself here because I'm trying to I'm thinking this through out loud. There's another possibility that Diddy's abuse led to her death, which is almost like killing her, right? So maybe Diddy never like poisoned her or whatever, but when you are abusive to a woman, and who knows how much she was being abused before. I mean, obviously they didn't find like bruises and stuff on her when she went to the coroner's office, but still, maybe some of the negligent activity by, like, who knows if that doctor was showing up to give her IVs because she was in a freak off, just, you know, repair whatever was broken, or a cut she got, or a bruise, you know what I mean, or whatever, you know, that was a result of her and Diddy fighting. And maybe that doctor wasn't caring about her other ailments. They only came for what Diddy wanted them to come for. I'm only here because Diddy said he slapped the shit out of you and you got a cut under your chin. So let me get that like fixed up. But I'm not caring about your general well-being in terms of other things that got nothing to do with Diddy. That could be true too. And in those cases, I think Diddy is to be blamed, clearly, right? Like, you know, if you're abusing a woman that to the point where she's her underlying medical condition or underlying medical symptoms is now ignored or just not, you know, respected or taken care of, like, definitely. But do I think Diddy poisoned her? I don't think Diddy poisoned her. Like, bruv, like, we would have seen, or it would have detected the drug, and it would have probably been a drug that is like meant for this. Like, this feels like she had underlying symptoms, but Diddy was beating her ass, bro. Which still doesn't make Diddy a saint, because he's still a piece of shit. But did he murder his? Yeah, and by the way, this is another level of sickness, right? If you can murder the mother of your child, you'll kill anybody. Like, you'll kill anybody. So I'm stopping short of saying that, but I'm thinking that he beat her ass, had her do weird stuff sexually she probably didn't want to do, and that probably, you know, when dealing with an in-house doctor, the doctor was probably too occupied with making sure she was of Diddy's liking rather than taking care of her own health, which again makes Diddy continue to look like a piece of shit, which seemingly it is, right? All right. Grant said he blew up Kid Cudi car, man. That nigga did it. Well, we could look at it like that too. We could. All right. Somebody said, happens all the time. Go watch viral crime scenes on YouTube. I'm not saying poison women or poison people don't exist. I'm saying the poison being unable to be detected like over 10 years now. Like, it's not even like they still have his toxicology report, and they haven't found anything that would match any type of drug that could do it. So that's what I think. Anyway, yo, chat, I'm finna call it wraps tonight. I know it's a little bit early on how am I calling the wraps tonight, but I know it's Monday, so you guys got school, work. I'll probably be back on probably around like 3 tomorrow, and I'll bang out and rock out with y'all for definitely 6 hours. So I apologize for getting on a little bit late today. I really wanted to get on at 8, but I got on at 10. So hopefully I covered the major topics. I didn't cover every topic, but it's kind of bouncing around, just trying to like keep it light, keep it fun. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for becoming members. I see a couple members on the Academy and the Academy page in King Akademiks, and also appreciate you. I owe you guys on Twitch. I do. I'm sorry. I got to log in. For whatever reason, I can't donate subs unless I'm logged in. So I'm going to log in on this computer. Or actually, well, I want to do it on stream, so I'll log in on this computer right here. Anyway, chat, I'll be back on probably around like 3 o'clock tomorrow. I love Mondays in a sense of it's a lead news day. Most big news stories, I always tell y'all, they either drop on Friday or Monday. Saturday and Sunday, you're pretty much not doing nothing. I'll tell you why. If you want a story to dominate the news, you hit it on Monday. Every outlet's looking for a lead story. On Friday, if you want a story for people just to talk about, right? Just to talk about with no competition, you drop it on Friday because they won't get an update till Monday. So really, Friday's the best time to drop stories. And that, by the way, if you look at most like federal arrests, they'll do it on Fridays too. Yeah, Friday's a very important day. Anyway, tomorrow's Monday, or actually today's Monday. So I'll see you guys later. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching my streams. I'm very blessed when I look up and I see the amount of people who watch for whatever reason. If you're watching for my humor, watching for me to talk about your favorite artists, watch for me to give an update about the music of your favorite artists, watch for me to, you know, make some jokes. I don't care what it is. I appreciate you guys for watching no matter where you're from. All right. Love you guys. I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. All right. Peace.
Hardcore, shorty scam me like a barcode, heartbreaking, I go viral, they don't know me, so the same niggas smoking out the old